Tougher Together Tuesday on a Tuesday night. And I have a quote for you. Um, for every door that has been opened to me, I've tried to open my doors to others. And here is what I have to say. Finally, let's invite one another in. Michelle Obama. And my topic on tonight is, have you seen the movie Leave the World Behind? I'm going to be breaking this down. Okay, so maybe like 2 years ago, one of my homeboys, what up, Javon? He was telling me about this movie, and I'm one of those people that I like to watch different movies. I don't watch every type of movies. There's a few movies that I don't watch for certain reasons or whatnot. But I do watch certain movies just because I feel like oftentimes with movies they be showing us stuff that is maybe possibly coming in the future, or things just showing us, stuff that's going on around us. So I like to usually watch different movies for that benefit. So my boy put me on to this movie. He was like, "Hey, you gotta watch this one. You watch it, you'll be breaking down some stuff. I know how you think or whatnot." So I watched this movie with him or whatnot, and this movie is called Leave the World Behind. And one of the things I will point out, even not about that movie, but if you go back to the pandemic and what happened during that time and with COVID and everything, it's a movie. I'm trying to think of the name of it right now. I think it's called Contagion. But almost a lot of the stuff that happened in that actual movie happened to us during the pandemic time, and how we were basically locked in and things like that, couldn't go out. So it was one of those movies where it was, predicting stuff way before it actually happened. And so with this movie, I feel like it's looking like it's doing the same thing. So you should definitely check this movie out, because a lot of the stuff that we're seeing right now actually kind of happened in that movie. And it just begs me to wonder if this movie was actually trying to warn us about things that are about to actually happen. And this is just for educational purpose, just for you to watch this movie. All right, so some of the things that kind of happen in the movie for you to just go ahead and watch, but I'm just breaking it down to you as far as things that are actually happening in our time or whatnot. If you guys remember, maybe sometime last year there was like some boats that like crashed into bridges and things like that. And in this movie, they were having like issues like that where boats were just going by themselves, and they didn't have any direction on where they were going and things like that, and they were just moving, and it was like they didn't have any direction as far as where they were going, and they were landing on sea and hitting things that they shouldn't been actually hitting, if the actual black boxes in them were actually working correctly and things like that. And then another thing that kind of happened in the movie, they were kind of letting you know that basically America has made a whole lot of enemies, and that since America has made a whole lot of enemies, then possibly our enemies were the ones who were actually attacking us and shutting down things. And if you look at what's kind of going on with all the tariffs and things like that, and a lot of things that the administration that's in office right now is talking about doing, it seems like it's kind of going after a few countries. Not necessarily going at them, but it's going to mess up their money in a certain way. So then by possibly messing up their money, then this may lead them to actually kind of go after the US. Now another thing, if you have not heard about it, BRICS, which is a few companies that's trying to get together to actually change the world's currency and how they actually are trying to make this currency the number one currency. So this is something else that's actually going against the U.S. So it may be possible that we may have a few countries that are going to try to go after us or go against us. But then too, one of the craziest thing is, remember when TikTok was supposed to be shutting down and everybody was actually well, we were being told that we should move over to Red Note, and then Red Note was a, company that's supposed to be a social media company made in China. If you look in that movie, they show where these things are being dropped in the sky, and on them it says Red Note on it. And then when one of the people from the movie actually was able to detect where the word and the writing was from, he was like, oh, this is from China or whatnot. So that's just something else, a little funny to think about. Another crazy thing in this movie that was actually occurring was airplanes falling from the sky and a whole lot of airplanes just crashing and things like that. Now, what do we have right now at this point in time? We have a lot of airplanes crashing and falling down, and we have a lot of stuff that basically in the sky where, you know, air traffic controls, they're having issues and problems and things like that at this current time. And so in this movie, it was the same thing. They were having issues with the, I guess, with flights, and flights just basically crashing and falling from out the sky and things like that. So it was kind of crazy how these things were actually happening, and then now we're actually getting that actually happening in this day, in this time. And then too, just with a lot of the phones not being able to function, and a lot of things being shut down electronically. This is something that if you been hearing different talks that we may have like a big mass shutdown in our electricity, and most of the US would be down, and people wouldn't have the ability to go and shop and do things like they usually would do. If you haven't heard things like that, you just maybe just haven't heard it, but there has been a lot of talks about our electricity probably going out or something happening and knocking out all of the US power grids and things like that. And so in this movie, this actually happens, and things actually get knocked out, and people can't use their cell phones. People can't do things like they normally would actually do it. And so this is just one of those things where this movie talks about this, and it shows this. So this is a good reason. Check this movie out. Alright, so another thing that actually happens in this movie as well is basically a lot of they were showing like Tesla cars, and these Tesla cars, you know, they're supposed to be self-driving cars. It was like as if something had went into the system, messed up the system, and all these cars were actually just crashing and just crashing everywhere. And it was just like they were driving themselves, and it was just like, and they were all just crashing into each other. So whatever had happened, there was like a hack, and somebody was able to get into the system, and it caused all the cars that were self-driven cars to actually start crashing into each other and things like that. And so when you think about it, who's actually in office right now, a part of the administration that actually owns Tesla? This is Elon Musk. And so you think about that, and then a lot of his stuff, he wants to do things with AI and things like that. And you notice that a lot of the US push right now is for us to have AI doing all these different things. So if you look at that, if somebody is able to actually, or if he's actually successful in getting a lot of his business actually into the office and getting it into the US and people using it, if someone was to ever hack our systems, then they can cause all these different AIs possibly to go against people or just start self-destructing things, or doing like with the same thing with the Teslas, having all the Teslas just start crashing into things. So this was just one of those things where this hasn't actually happened, but it's just one of those things that it was shown in a movie, and this is something that can definitely possibly happen to us with all these AI different gadgets and things like that that we actually have. And so this is not one of those things that has happened, but you can definitely see through this movie that something like that can possibly happen. So another reason for you to check this movie out. All right, so lastly, with this whole thing, some of the people that helped out with the producing of this movie were the Obamas. And that kind of helps me to kind of think, like, were they trying to give us a little warning, trying to let us know, hey, I can't come out and say this, but I know this, but I'm gonna kind of give you like that little warning, like, hey, this stuff may go down in the future or whatnot. So just in case it do, we kind of put this movie out to kind of let you guys know that this is what's up and actually coming. And so that was, kind of like a telltale or whatnot. And it's very interesting about this actual movie that they actually helped to actually produce this actual movie. And then, it's very important from even watching this movie and just looking at how things are at this given point in time to definitely, you want to love on those people that you can love on, your family, your friends, and whatnot, because you never know what may go down or what may actually happen. And that was something else that I recognized, kind of like in this actual movie, just being there for your family, your friends. And even in this movie, they do a reference to the actual show Friends. And I felt like that was kind of like one of those things to kind of let you know, like, hey, make sure you kind of there for your friends and things like that, because the days and times that we living in right now, you never know how things may actually turn out or how things may actually go. So to all my family, friends, and loved ones and whatnot that may be watching this, oftentimes when I do these videos, this is like a way for me to kind of say, hey, what's up to you guys? Or if you haven't heard my voice in a while or seen me in a while, this is a way for you to actually see me and know that your boy's good. And I hope you doing good. And I hope you are just doing all right as you live your day-to-day life and the things that we actually are going through in this day and time. But do me a favor, check this movie out for yourself. See how you like it, see what you think about it and what it's actually saying if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it before, maybe go back and look at it again and see if some of these things are actually happening right now or other clues that you may actually see. I'm going to probably leave a description in this video for you to actually see the trailer of it if you haven't checked this movie out before. All right. This is another Tougher Together Tuesday. All right, and always remember, two are better than one if two function as one. So stay together.